by the heart of forgiveness, an expanded tale in the picturesque town of Maplewood, where the leaves painted the air with warm hues and the sweet smell of fresh pastries wafted from the local bakery, lived a man named Jake Thompson. A once vibrant architect known for designs that breathed light, Jake had spiraled into solitude after the tragic loss of his wife, Emily, to a sudden illness. Their life together had been a tapestry woven with dreams, plans for a family they never had, and shared laughter that now only echoed painfully in their custom-designed, empty home. Jake's grief was not just sadness, it was a physical weight, a chilling silence that kept the world at bay. His friends, like the well-meaning Mrs. Peterson from the bakery and his old drafting partner Mark, caught whispers of Jake's struggle, but they remained at a distance, unsure of how to approach a man so cloaked in pain, who had repeatedly deflected their offers of comfort. Section I Diaeresis Sibylla. The unexpected light one dreary afternoon, the sky wept as rain pummeled Jake's porch. He leaned against the doorframe, watching the droplets race each other down the glass, lost in a melancholy that felt both familiar and suffocating, as if summoned by fate. He heard a soft, desperate whimper. Peering outside, he noticed a small girl, no older than 5, standing on the sidewalk, tears streaming down her flushed cheeks. She was soaking, her bright orange sweater an oddly cheerful splash against the grey backdrop. "The puppy!" she cried, looking around desperately. Compelled to act, Jake stepped out into the rain, the protective instinct he'd reserved only for Emily stirring in his chest. "What's wrong, little one?" he asked, kneeling before her, ignoring the chill of the rain. "I lost my puppy, Barnaby. He ran away," she sobbed, her big blue eyes, the color of a summer sky, filled with fear. "Let's find him together," Jake replied, the words surprising him with their genuine warmth. For the next hour, they scoured the neighborhood, Jake using his architect's eye for detail to check every low bush and dark corner. The girl introduced herself as Lily. With each shared look of hope and each soft barking laugh they exchanged, Jake gradually felt a sliver of warmth returning to his heart, cracking the ice around his grief. As the sun peeked from behind the clouds, they spotted a fluffy terrier mix, Barnaby, beneath old Mr. Henderson's prize-winning rose bush. Lily squealed with a joy so pure it felt like a physical shock to Jake's system. That day marked the beginning of a unique friendship. Lily, with her unfiltered questions and relentless curiosity, made his silence impossible. Over the following weekends, they explored the local park, Jake sketching while Lily told elaborate stories, and sharing dreams that felt lighter than air. By the moment of relapse, however, the past is a stubborn ghost. One evening, months into their companionship, as they played a spirited game of catch in Jake's yard, Lily, a little too enthusiastic, swung her juice box. It exploded, spilling a sticky crimson stream all over Jake's favorite, slightly threadbare blue cotton shirt, a cherished memento from the trip where Emily had first said "I love you." Consumed by a tidal wave of misplaced frustration, Jake snapped, the words sharp and cruel, "Why can't you be more careful?" This was hers. Lily's bright smile shattered instantly, her face crumpling. Her eyes, usually so trusting, were wide with shock and hurt. "Forgive me, please," he broke in. "I didn't mean to," she squeaked, tears cascading down her cheeks. She looked exactly like the lost child on the street again. Jake felt a sharp, sickening jab of guilt. The echo of her plea hung painfully in the air, forcing him to confront the dark truth. He had allowed his unprocessed grief to fester, using Lily's innocent mistake as a scapegoat for his enduring pain. He saw Emily's gentle face in his mind, and he knew her disappointment would be immense. Diaeresis Sibylla. The act of true forgiveness that night, haunted by regret and the shame of hurting the only person who had broken through his pain, Jake tossed and turned. He realized healing required more than just distracting himself. It required honesty about his feelings and repentance for his actions. The following day, Jake sought Lily with trepidation. He found her sitting under the old copper beech tree in the park, sketching intently. Kneeling down to her level, he didn't offer excuses, only his truth. "Lily," he began, his voice heavy with sincerity. "I was wrong. I was angry at a shirt, and I took it out on you. You are the kindest person I know, and you didn't deserve that. I'm truly sorry for how I acted yesterday. Can you forgive me?" There was a moment of silence, the air thick with tension. Then, Lily broke into a radiant, world-mending smile. "I forgive you, Jake. I know you were just sad about Emily," she chirped, her small, trusting heart completely undeterred. "Maybe we can make a new favorite shirt?" With that simple, profound act of forgiveness, the air between them shifted. Jake felt a knot in his chest he hadn't known was the finally loosen. It was the moment he stopped running from his grief and started walking through it. Ethio cubed, planting a legacy. Their friendship deepened exponentially after that vulnerability. Lily taught Jake to find joy in everyday moments, from the rustling of the beach leaves to the golden sunsets. In return, Jake became a gentle, guiding figure in her life, teaching her to sketch and fostering her innate resilience. Jake decided to channel his architect's vision into a new project. He secured a vacant lot downtown, a neglected piece of land, and announced plans for a community garden. He called it Emily's Promise, symbolizing rebirth and growth. Word of Jake's change, driven by the 5-year-old's unconditional love, spread throughout Maplewood. Friends who had once hesitated, a Mrs. Peterson with her home-baked bread, Mark with his strong hands, were inspired to reconnect. They didn't just offer sympathy, they offered labor. Jake began sharing his story of love and loss at planning meetings, emphasizing the power of forgiveness in healing not just personal pain but community fractures. FY section ± the heart of Maplewood Center. The garden flourished, but Jake realized the need for an indoor space. He designed and, with community funds and volunteer labor, built the Maplewood Compassion Center on the edge of the garden. It was a beautiful, light-filled structure featuring an expansive teaching kitchen, art studios, and a small library dedicated to literature on grief and emotional health. Jake led blueprints of healing workshops, encouraging emotional expression through drawing and storytelling. Lily, now a bright-eyed tween, initiated a kindness exchange program, where children anonymously left small gifts or notes for others. Years later, as they stood among blooming flowers at the center's grand opening, the building a tribute to Emily's memory, Jake recalled how a single moment of forgiveness had changed everything. The center was filled with the laughter of countless families. Lily, now a thoughtful, articulate teenager, stood beside him. She represented the future Jake had almost forfeited. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Jake shared a few words with the gathered crowd. "Greater than grief built walls around my heart, but a child's simple request for forgiveness when my need to ask for it tore them down." Forgiveness is not just a gift we give to others, it is a healing balm for ourselves. It opens the door to love, joy, and growth. This center is not about moving past pain, but about growing through it, together. Greater than. Lily beamed, turning to Jake. "Look, Jake," she whispered, pointing to a family planting a small rose bush. "They're planting their own promise." The Maplewood Compassion Center became a thriving hub of activity, fostering a tangible legacy of love and hope. It hosted intergenerational cooking classes, art therapy for veterans, and monthly storytelling of loss sessions that validated all forms of grief. Jake, no longer an architect of buildings but an architect of community, saw his purpose realized not in steel and glass, but in the enduring bonds nurtured by the simple, powerful, and regenerative heart of forgiveness. The end.